Sega had Sonic and Nintendo had Mario, the TurboGrafx 16 really lacked a good mascot when it launched. And that may be one of the reasons why its sales were so poor. It's really unfortunate because it's a great system. I actually preferred it better than the Sega Genesis. Bonk's Adventure was released in 1990, and it was published by Hudson Soft in North America. I have a lot of fond memories of Bonk as a kid, and especially from TurboPlay magazine. I remember they held a contest that 10 winners would receive a free copy of Bonk's Revenge. And I never won anything in my life, but as soon as I flipped over the back of TurboPlay magazine, there was my name, number 6 on the list. Soon after, Bonk's Revenge hit my doorstep.
Bonk's Adventure is a side-scrolling platformer that takes you back to the prehistoric times. The environments are beautifully designed with vibrant colors and details that make you feel like you're walking with the dinosaurs. The soundtrack has some very catchy tunes that set the mood for the game perfectly. The characters in the game have a cartoon style that works quite well along with their humorous animations. The concept is very simple. Headbutt anything that moves. While Bonk is standing still, he can perform a standing headbutt. When you're in the air, you can drop down on top of your enemy. You can also turn on the turbo switch on the turbo pad and perform a deadly spinning attack. It can also be used to get you to the other side of some pits filled with quicksand or other troublesome areas. Collecting items is a very important part of the game. Fruits and vegetables will restore Bonk's health, which is represented as 3 hearts in the top left corner. There are also other edible items like chunks of meat. Small pieces give you the ability to temporarily freeze enemies that are nearby. If you collect another piece directly after collecting the first one, you'll become invincible for a brief moment, and I stress moment because it only lasts about 10 seconds, if that. You can also find large chunks of meat that will give you invincibility as well. It's like taking 2 small pieces at once. Another important item are the smiley faces. These will be counted up after defeating a boss, and if enough have been collected, you can get an extra life. Another way to collect extra lives is by doing the bonus rounds found within walls or sometimes the small stone caveman homes. There are various challenges like headbutting the rocks that fly out of a volcano or trying to scale a wall within a time limit. Through the game, you will also notice flowers that are yellow and orange. The yellow ones will help you jump higher into the air, while the orange ones will give you an item that can help restore your life. Each level has multiple areas, so before you confront a boss in the first level, you will have to get to the end of level 1, area 3. At the start of each area, they show where your current location is by a wood sign, and when you reach the end of the area, it is represented with another sign showing an arrow that leads to the way out. As the game progresses, so does the difficulty of the levels and bosses. Level 3 has a tough swimming area, but with a little practice you can get through it pretty easily. Each boss has a weak point on their body that is represented by the flashing area. There's no real trick to defeating them other than just going buck wild on them. They really don't take that many hits, and some of the harder bosses become easier when you play through it a second time because you know their pattern. Once you learn the pattern, you can quickly take them out. Now I briefly want to talk about Bonk's Revenge. This is a sequel to the first Bonk, and it is also an incredibly fun game. In Bonk's Revenge, they brought more of the Flintstone feel into the game. They gave us more elements of civilization. There was more structured buildings and even a ship level with all sorts of hilarious enemies. They probably added these new environments like this because without big changes to the backgrounds and levels, it would be the same game over again. The game still managed to capture all the vibrant colors and funny characters through the entire game like the first one. They even added floating chickens. Come to think of it, that would really suck if you were walking down the street and you got hit in the head with a roasted chicken. Anyway, moving on. Compared to the first one, they did throw in a bigger variety of bonus rounds where you could refill your health and try your luck at getting an extra life. It was nice they did this because the first Bonk's bonus rounds became repetitive fast. The only thing I did not appreciate about Bonk's Revenge was the soundtrack. It was not as fun and catchy as the first one, and some of the levels had an extremely annoying track that drove me crazy every time I heard it. It was meant to be funny and cartoonish, but I don't think it worked all that well. Well, sorry, I'm gonna make you listen to it. Here it is. Did you like it? Good. Another aspect I disliked was the fact they turned up the difficulty too quickly. I felt like there was just way too much going on at some points. No matter how hard you tried to dodge something flying your way, it seems like it would always hit you. The first bonk got hard towards the end, but I felt like they did it in a smoother incline. They increased the difficulty where it was needed. If I had to pick a favorite between the two, I would pick the first one, Bonk's Adventure. I liked the soundtrack better and some of the other elements of the game. Overall, it was just a more enjoyable experience and the levels seemed to flow together better. They also added a lot of strange random objects in the second one that just didn't make sense, like floating bricks in the air or the fact you could collect fast food french fries and burgers. It was still fun, but I liked it better when they did not add all these crazy items to the game. It captured the prehistoric feel better, and they still were able to add the cartoony design that worked great. Go check out Bonk. It's a great game.